the beauty about making an apple crisp. It's also the same way for making any kind of crisp. So I had 2 things of pie fillings that did not seal, and I am going to, the apple crisp calls for 4 cups, so I'm going to take these, which are 4 cups, and I'm going to put them in a dish, and then I'm going to mix up all of my apple crisp topping and kind of mix it in a little bit. We're not going to make, this is blueberry apple pie filling. We're not going to make a traditional apple crisp, blueberry apple crisp. We're actually going to make blueberry apple crisp cookies in the freeze dryer. Stick with me. So far in this container, I have half a cup and maybe 1 tablespoon of soft white wheat ground. I have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of oats. I want to up the oats because the last time I made it, it just needed a little bit more of something. I'm going to assume that's oats. Trinity is helping us today. That is my assistant for the day. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, cinnamon and nutmeg. And I'm going to put that straight into this, keeping, because you know, I don't think you can go wrong with nutmeg and cinnamon. I just don't. I don't think that's possible. I'm going to put 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I kind of want to see if it brings some of the flavors out. Taking the pastry cutter, I'm just going to stir all of this together and incorporate it, and then I'm going to add my butter, and then we're going to make it all pretty. I know they can barely see you, but I'm thinking it calls for 1/3 of a cup. Should we just keep 1/3 of a cup? Think that's good? Okay, we have decided we're going to keep 1/3 of a cup. It calls for 1/3 of a cup. We're going to put 1/3 of a cup in here, but we're going to use this to grease our pan first. So grease your pan, then we're going to dump this in, then we're going to dump this on top, and then we're just going to stick it in the oven. I'm going to cheat because this is frozen butter and I'm sticking it in the microwave. It's going to get melted or whatever, it's going to be fine. And remember the drill, we just pour it straight in and we're going to mix it all up. But first we're going to dump in the pie filling. And that's easy. We're just opening them up and dumping them in. We've already got this greased. Yes. Let me get this other one and then we're going to work on that. I know you want some, but you can't have any. You can't have any people food at all. I know. It's like torture because you've got one of these like magnificent noses that smells everything. To be honest with you, I don't even know if this is going to turn out, but even if it's liquidy, even if it's got too much liquid, the freeze dryer is going to suck all of that out. So it really doesn't have to be a perfect product in the beginning because the freeze dryer is going to make it a perfect product. There we go. Now we're going to work on this. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to somewhat be incorporated. So we just keep working it. Like I said in another video, this was my job growing up as a kid. I know some people today would probably think that it is child abuse that I make my kids cook, or that I was made to cook as a kid. But no, it was being part of a family. You know, we all had jobs in the family, in the household. And mine was to make the apple crisp. And I actually loved it because my dad would make such a big deal out of it. He loved apple crisp. And I would make it, and when he would have a scoop of it, oh, the reaction on his face was totally worth it. I was so proud as a kid that I made apple crisp that my dad loved. So there's another way of looking at it. Okay, I'm gonna finish this and I'll show you what it looks like in the end. And that is perfect. That's all you want. And then you pour it over the top. It's literally that simple. Now, when this comes out of the oven, we're going to let it cool, and we're going to do what we did last time, which was we kind of stirred it all up, scrunched it all down, and then took a cookie scoop, and spread it and scooped it up and put it on the tray and then flattened it. I think we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to make sure this is all covered so when it juices and bubbles over, it wets everything. So if you are my granddaughter, Emmeline, you can do this at home. You can do this. If you want, when you come over to visit, I'll teach you. We can do this together. So that's it. We're just gonna put this in the oven and we're gonna bake it, 375. Now that we got that in the oven, 30 minutes, we'll check it, and we're gonna clean the kitchen now. We'll talk to you guys in a bit. So it came out of the oven about 5-10 minutes ago. Yeah, we kind of ate the corner. It's really, really good. Now we're just going to evenly distribute. I'm just going to rough stir it all up. And then I'm gonna let it cool a little bit more. And we're gonna scoop it on the tray. But it is still slightly warm, and as it's cooling, it's getting a little bit thicker. I know. Play with your food, people. Even our parents always tell us not to play with our food. But there you go. I know you all saw that behind me. We're going to taste test while we wait for this to cool down. Sourdough starter biscuits. Made with whole wheat, so they don't rise very well, but we're gonna see what they taste like. I plopped them all on the tray, and they've actually flattened themselves out. I'm gonna stick them in the freezer for about 5-10 minutes, maybe 20, and then I'm gonna flatten them out a little bit again because they are very, very moist. But that's okay, because the freeze dryer will take it all out. And these were gonna be blueberry apple crisp cookies. There you go. 33 hours later, and they have come out of the freeze dryer. And let me just tell you, I've started packaging them up, and then I realized you wanted to know. Let me just tell you, this is a beautiful product. This is absolutely a beautiful product. I am packaging them 4 to a container, 1, so we could take them on a trip and we could have 2 each or whatever, or I could send them to work with my husband and he can have a snack. But it is so much lighter, fluffier, and crispier. Like, not hard. It's much more spongier, like lighter. I don't know. I can't even. Chewy. It has a slight chew to it. It's really good. So if you have any pie filling that you haven't used, that you want to do something with, and you just got a freeze dryer, turn your pie filling into a cobbler and freeze dry it. There you go. Now you know what I know. I'm going to get finished packaging these. You guys have a great day out there. Don't forget to label.